Yo, what's good with y'all? Back at it again with another video. You know the vibes. Hope y'all are staying blessed, staying bliss, meditating, getting in nature, just enjoying y'all's lives, making the most out of every single day, because every single day is beautiful. Without any further ado, let's get straight into this video. We really gotta start asking ourselves questions, because if you ask yourself questions, you will receive answers. People gotta stop looking outwards for validation and answers for their problems. Like, somebody don't even know, they got two choices where they want to go to eat. They can't even decide themselves. You got to ask somebody outwards. People can't do nothing within themselves anymore. We got to start getting in the habits of sitting down with ourselves and asking ourselves these questions, like, what should I do? Should I go out here? Should I go out there? Should I stay home? Should I go out? Not asking all these outer sources about what we should do. We got to start getting in the habits of just asking ourselves and trusting our gut of what our first thought, like what our first thing that we said we were going to do. That's what we got to start trusting. We got to just start trusting in ourselves rather than looking outwards for all this, for confirmation that this is the right decision or confirmation that this looks good. You know what I mean? People ask 10 people before they buy something just to make sure that they have validation from everybody else rather than just buying it on their own because they liked it. You know what I'm saying? Through Instagram, we look through Instagram for validation. Y'all just got to start looking within for validation and looking within for the answers to your problems. Ask yourself questions, you will receive answers. It might not be like a words answer, but you will have a feeling of knowing. You will be able to figure out the answer to that problem, whatever it may be. Something will come to you. You will figure that out. If you ask yourself these questions, you don't have to necessarily meditate on it, but you ask yourself a question in a meditation, you will get that answer. If you say to yourself, I'm staying in this meditation until I get this answer, that answer will come. If you just sit down and you just sit by yourself for a little bit and you ask yourself questions and you really wait for the answer, you will get that answer eventually. We got to stop looking outwards for these things, outwards for everything. The only way out is within. It's that simple. The only way out is within. You got to start looking at what's inside before you start going outside asking everybody what you should do. People so stuck up on asking people for help that they don't trust themselves. They do not trust their own decisions. They can't decide whether they should stay home, whether they should go out, whether they should buy this, whether they should not buy it. Because they're so worried about if other people are going to approve of that decision or what other people are going to think of that decision. You just got to trust what you get within. Stop worrying about what anything else on the outside. You got to start trusting yourself within. Stop asking people and really start to trust your own decisions. Do that for like a week, a couple months, whatever. Do that and you're really going to start to trust yourself. Your intuition will be stronger. It'll be so much easier to make decisions. You won't need to ask 10 people about something before you do it. You'll just know, I should do this. I know you can recognize your intuition. You can recognize when something within you is telling you to do it and when something outwards is telling you to do it. You can recognize the difference. And that's why you got to start really going within and asking yourself these questions. Every single time you go outwards and ask something, a question, you're weakening your intuition. You're saying, oh, I don't trust myself. Let me ask somebody outside of me. You know what I'm saying? Rather than trusting what's inside of you. When you trust what's inside of you, every single time you listen to your intuition, you trust yourself, that part of you gets stronger. That connection to that intuition and that part of you gets stronger. Every time you distrust it and you say and you know what that part of you is saying, but you ignore it, and then you go ask other people or you go do the opposite, you're weakening that intuition, that part of you. Whatever you want to call your sixth sense, your whatever you want to call it, that you're weakening that part of you every time you ignore it and every time you just let it. You know it's there, but you don't act on it. You go and you look outwards. You don't listen to your intuition. You ask other people. You ask people for outwards opinions. You don't listen to what your own self is telling you, and that weakens that. So you're not even going to know what your intuition is. Or you always have a sense of what it is, but eventually you're going to have no trust in it. Every single situation is going to be you needing to ask someone else, you needing to go outwards. You know what I'm saying? every single, but until you start trusting it, you're not going to be able to make decisions yourself. You got to start trusting that intuition, knowing that your intuition wouldn't lead you astray. Your intuition is you. It's just a higher version of you. So why would a higher version of you steer you wrong? It doesn't steer you wrong. It is there to guide you and help you. And that's why you got to listen to it and stop distrusting it. The more you listen to it, the stronger it gets, and the more you ignore it, the weaker it gets. So you gotta, it's like any other muscle. It's like any other muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it is. The less you work it out, the weaker it gets. It's like any other muscle. That's why you gotta work it out. You gotta work out your intuition and work out your trust in yourself and your own decisions rather than freaking going outwards every single time. You don't want to have a weak muscle. You want all your muscles to be evenly as strong. So you gotta get that muscle, that's within you. You gotta start to trust that muscle. You gotta start to let that muscle work. You gotta start to let that muscle grow. You gotta start to let that muscle flourish. You gotta let that muscle get experience, gain experience, and learn. And you learn about that muscle, and then you understand when it is telling you something and when it isn't telling you something. And that's the key to it. Learning when it is talking to you and when it isn't, and when you're disregarding it, when you're not disregarding it. The more you are able to identify your intuition and trust it, the stronger it will get, the easier it is to identify. And that's it. This is what I'm telling y'all. You gotta focus, like, ask yourself questions, you will receive answers. Trust yourself and trust what your intuition is saying so it can get stronger. Don't let it get weak by you constantly looking for these outwards answers and things. All right? With that being said, peace, much love. Have an amazing day.